My, it certainly has been a long time since I've done a video like this. Close to 3 years even. And I'm not even 100% sure what is causing me to do it now. Maybe it's an unhealthy obsession. Maybe I'm just fucking bored. Anyways, what am I even doing here? Well, I'll tell you. I want to take you guys back to about 2012. This was like just before YouTube was starting to shill out its YouTube horrors, or just about the same time. Back when it wasn't as big of a platform as it has grown to be over the years, and when 100,000 subscribers was a very big feat for some people. There was a gentleman on the internet, well, recently he left, so I think he'll care very little if I do respond to this. Anyway, he used to be called Undertaker Freak 1127, aka John. Now, chances are, if you watched my channel these past few years, you already know who John is. He's a loser. But more importantly, he's a total has-been. I first found UTF in 2012 on a video he made about Amanda Todd. From there, I came across him from time to time and always thought of what an intellectual this guy was, how well spoken, and I applied that kind of thing to my life. But then, as the years went on, he kind of became a douche. Well, he was always kind of a douche, but ever since the 2016 election, he just fell off his rocker. So recently he did one of those overly dramatic "I'm done" videos, and I just felt like I needed to talk about certain details with this, and I wanted to just call out some bullshit about this. Like, there's some genuine fuckery with this, so here we go. Why, yes, most of my videos are gone. I started making these rants at age 19 when I thought I knew everything, and every atheist was trying to be like the amazing atheist. It is safe to say that I am no longer the gun-loving, cop-supporting, every story has two sides centrist I was once trying to be in the early days. Okay, so this is something that's always bothered me about this kind of mentality. Listening to both sides of the story does not make you a centrist. Are judges in a court just centrists because they listen to two testimonies? You can listen to two sides and then pick one. You don't have to be a centrist to know the full story of something. Maybe some of you would like the notion of having a video diary of your worldview and beliefs from 10 years ago to the present, but I don't. Seeing some of my old opinions and takes does nothing more than embarrass and nauseate me today. We've heard this one before, he'll be back. Nah, nearly all of my videos are gone. What's left to rebuild? Another pointless rant channel? Have you taken a good look at the ranting community that still hangs on by a thread here? It's a cringe fest of centrists and drama mongers with horrible takes and so much edge that I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I lean towards crying because I see my past self in some of this garbage. This is something John and I admittedly agree on, namely that the ranting community is not the big deal it used to be. A lot of us have pretty much disbanded, and a lot of what's been said has been done before. Now, I've had arguments with people in the past about whether or not the ranting community is still alive and well. I personally just do not see it. I've talked about it time and time again. Maybe I will actually make a video talking about that if that is the case. Now, sometimes it can be funny to look back on that kind of stuff, but it definitely isn't what it used to be. And it's normal for others to leave and give up on videos. However, there's a reason why I choose to call him out on this compared to others, and he claims he used to be a know-it-all, but he's a know-it-all now more than he was back then. I'll get more into that later. I used to abhor feminism, now I consider myself an ally. I used to think cops were truly there to protect and serve. I now think they're simple oppressive tools of the state. I used to love guns. I now see them for what they actually are, mindless killing machines that are revered like inanimate gods by, usually, very dim people. I also used to think that there were two sides to every story for the sake of being as close to the political center as possible. Fuck that. Sometimes someone is getting fucked over through no fault of their own, and we need to determine why, instead of standing up for wealth hoarding billionaires and corporate criminals who will never, ever give a fuck about you, even if you are the ones keeping them in the billions. And there are certainly never two sides when it comes to racists, fascists, or bigots. Okay, so this guy has almost always been a political leftist and a loyal Democratic supporter. Close to the political center as possible, my ass. I mean, good lord. Need I remind you, this is the guy who laughed his ass off when Obama won his second term, laughed at Republicans for wanting to secede from the Union, then he cried a river when Trump was elected, and now he's left the country. I'm ashamed that I ever believed in the notion of a self-made billionaire. I'm ashamed that I ever thought capitalism was a positive force in the world in any way, shape, or form. I personally went through a short stint in favor of socialism and communism when I was in college, but he never finished college, so I guess better late than never. Simply put, I am ashamed of the ranter that so many of you thought was reasonably intelligent and well spoken. And here lies the main problem. He's so ashamed of who he used to be when making these videos, but back then more people listened and found him a lot more reasonable. If you had seen the videos he had put out before he deleted them, you would see how radically left his views had gotten, how less and less people paid attention to him, and how more and more of us had problems with him. Back then, he actually was someone who was intellectually sound, and only on occasion did he have the hypocritical slip-up. But now, because more people see him for the washed-up intelligent speaker he used to be, brushes off any criticism and acts like no one on the internet he knows in his life matters. He's personally said to me how people on the internet are worthless to him, even though he had the hots for Queenie Martha, is best friends with the Archfiend, and met his wife through the internet. The only reason those kind of relationships don't matter to him is because we were the ones that were calling him out on that bullshit in the first place. But back then, he got along with everyone real well and he was fine with it then. Yeah, those kind of relationships don't matter, John. Even my non-political stuff was perfunctory garbage when I look back at it now. For example, I still think PewDiePie is an unfunny prick who's probably also a white supremacist. Nobody gives a shit! But my videos against him in 2012 were completely without substance or an actual point. Just contempt rambling. And that was my most popular video, and I deleted that shit over a year ago because I felt it was so cringeworthy. It pains me to admit this, but most of my videos were filler, a way to pass time in some of the darkest moments of my life. But for some reason, people came back for more. If you enjoyed my content, I do appreciate it, but I am no longer the person you may have grown up watching. Big shock. All I want to do is play video games, enjoy my time with my wife and dogs, and watch the world descend into madness the way I think we all knew it would when we first heard of the concept of a nuclear weapon. If there's one thing about John that hasn't changed, it's the part that he's always been a sanctimonious cunt able to squeeze in any kind of philosophical moment he can. Also, I hope Onision and Must Destroy All get to rot in the same prison cell together, even though I think prison is ineffective, wasteful, and blatantly racist. Go figure. I don't even know where the fuck he's going with this. Jesus Christ. Anyway, if for some reason you want to keep up with me and shoot the shit, I run a Discord. You can find the link in the description. Peace. Okay, can I just say that this guy has become a total gold digger? He was always broke and trying to find work. He got fired as a seasonal from Kmart. He meets a rich Finnish woman after breaking up with his girlfriend, not even a year after they broke up, gets married and leaves the country because of how much he hates Trump. And he brags about all the shit his wife buys him. He has an iPad and MacBook. He hated Apple products before then. She bought him Lars Ulrich's old drum kit. He uses it to make drum tutorial videos. And he acts like his life is so perfect now he supports the poor and hates the rich billionaires when he just mooches off his rich woman. Bottom line, fuck Undertaker Freak 1127. Back in high school, I found this guy who I used to really look up to and respect for his thoughts and beliefs. He was like the first person on the internet I found who made me understand that I should think for myself and that if you have nothing nice to say it anyway. It's amazing how he regrets so much about his old videos and beliefs when most of them were more logically sound than they are now. But if you tell him that, of course he wouldn't care because he's too busy being happy abandoning his country to mooch off some wealthy Finnish woman.
All I've done is try to be nice to you and you still don't like me. How can you not like me? Okay, I'll tell you. You are the worst person I know. You're such a sponge. You pay for nothing. You always say, "Ooh, I'll get you later," but later never comes. And what really bothers me is you pretend you're this deep guy. I don't buy them a copy of Catcher in the Rye and then lecture them with some 7th grade interpretation of how Holden Caulfield is some profound intellectual. He wasn't. He was a spoiled brat. And that's why you like him so much. He's you. God, you're pretentious. And you delude yourself by thinking you're some great writer, even though you're terrible. And I think what I hate most about you is your textbook liberal agenda. How we should legalize pot, man. How big business is crushing the underclass. How homelessness is the biggest tragedy in America. Well, what have you done to help? I work down at the soup kitchen, Brian. Never seen you down there. You want to help? Grab a ladle. And by the way, driving a Prius doesn't make you Jesus Christ. Oh, wait, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, or any religion for that matter, because religion is for idiots. Well, who the hell are you to talk down to anyone? You failed college twice, but you know what? I could forgive all of that, all of it, if you weren't such a bore. That's the worst of it, Brian. You're just a big, sad, alcoholic bore. I'll see you, Brian. Thanks for the steak.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Get that shit out of here!